Please stand for the pledge. Cecily, roll call, please.
Counselor Richards?
Here.
Counselor Sanchez? Here. Counselor Thorstad? Counselor Trask?
Here.
President Pro Tem Mahler?
Here.
Mayor Coleman?
Present.
Counselor Gorley?
Here. Let the record show that we have 7 present and 0 absent. Moving on to the consent agenda. It's 3 sets of minutes in that.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Cecily, please call for a vote.
Counselor Sanchez?
Yes.
Counselor Thorstad?
Yes.
Counselor Trask?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Mahler?
Yes.
Mayor Coleman?
Yes.
Counselor Gorley?
Yes.
Counselor Richards?
Yes.
Let the record show that we have 7 ayes and no nays to approve the consent agenda. Moving on to recognition of visitors and hearing of petitions. We have Stephen Blench. Please come forward, sit in this chair here and state your name and your address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes to share your thoughts.
Okay, my name is Stephen Blench. I live at 4381 Osage Street. And my concern is the lack of communication from the city due to the felling of trees for the new park out there. And there's the severe lack of communication because the plans are already put in place with no consultation from local residents. And now the trees are being felled right in front of my house with not even a letter about it. And there's a tree on the corner of my property, which is next to my property, which is city property, which is dead. And the city tells me that tree's fine. It's like there's just lack of communication right now, which is pretty much it.
Okay, thank you for your comment. And
Okay.
City Manager Young can speak to that if she would like to.
Yes, please feel free to meet with me. I'm sorry that you felt that way. We did try to communicate, but I'm sorry that it was inadequate. So thank you.
Moving on to the next public comment, Terry W. Lee. Do I have that right? Please also do the same and have a seat. Share your name and address for the record.
My name is Terry W. Lee. I live at 1326 43rd Avenue. I'd be Stephen's neighbor, right on the corner. I was at the meeting about the park. We got letters. I have a letter here. And I came to the meeting about the park. You guys told us that you were gonna you were very excited about the park. We had a big, this was full here about people that aren't excited about that park because we're having drug problems. We've had problems with maintaining roads. The road that you're building the park on is way narrow. It's not even a 2-lane road, and you're gonna shorten it up, put parking in. Then we didn't know that there's gonna be 10 structures for homeless or homeless families in our neighborhood. We weren't even asked our opinion, what we thought about it. I've owned this piece of property for 32 years. And I moved there because I was there before the Flex building. And you guys brought the Flex building in, then you chip sealed the road. You just did this and all the water ran to my yard. I had to fix it. The deal is we have problems. Stephen didn't mention his father-in-law just passed away and somebody's already broken into his father-in-law's place. We have issues there. We don't need anymore. And when we came in here about the park, I explained that there are osprey nests in them big old trees. And you guys thought, well, them big trees, they're going to be money, money, money. Well, you know what? I was there. The logger there, I worked for him for 10 years. I'm not going to say names. It's not right to do that. Very nice people. Some of the best loggers that are going to do that. But while we're talking, there's a bald eagle that flies by. Those trees are detrimental. You were saying it's a fire block. Well, below that property is a swamp. Beyond the swamp and the railroad tracks is an old mill yard that was there forever. Beyond that, and you guys gave us a thing right up here that said what's going to be there. And I have pictures in my phone if you want to see it, what's going to be there. You've already proposed walkways clear to the river. You don't even own that property. Nobody ever even asked us what we thought about a homeless compound or part, whatever you're going to call it, because you're calling it for families. And I do sympathize with that. I was a single dad of 4 kids, 3 girls at my home right there. And you know what? Whenever I didn't have enough money, I had to go find another job. I had to work elsewhere. I really don't sympathize with the people that don't want to better themselves, that just want to steal stuff. We've had a lot of theft. We have, the deal is the communication with the city to the people that actually live there was none. When we come in here and we talk to you about this, you didn't tell us you had 10 structures planned to put there. I stopped there and talked to a guy from the city, and there was a asphalt contractor there at the time. He told me, hey, do you have time right now? Yes, I do. I'm retired. I came right down here. He said, talk to Levi. I come in and talk to Levi. Levi says, well, I don't know anything about this. Nobody can show me a site plan. Nobody has seen a site plan. Your first letters that went out were the wrong dang address on the other end of town. The next letters that went out, it has actually got blue on it that shows where you guys made the mistake. Oh yeah, we changed the address all of a sudden. This was not thought out by the city. This was not put to any of our, none of us have any say about it. I've owned that place for 32 years. I put a lot of money into it, and now all of a sudden we're going to have a homeless place right across the street. They've already started cutting the trees without even asking people.
Thank you, Terry, for your comments.
Yeah.
I can just clarify a little bit.
I'm sorry, I don't hear very well. That's another thing I'd like to say is I'm hearing impaired due to logging in this town for 23 years. You sit back there, you can't hear a ding dang thing.
We have new microphones coming.
We do.
You know, we ordered new microphones and they got on that ship that got smashed by a bridge in Boston. They were sitting on that ship. So we're glad to actually expect them to come anytime soon.
They really were. And we are.
Truly were.
So, we can prove it if you would like. So
Back there, can't hear what you're saying.
they're welcome to come forward. We have our microphones and we do try to speak as loudly as we can. I have a soft voice. I did a service mission in Central America and I had diphtheria and I almost died, and that caused a lot of scar tissue. So I do the best I can, but anytime anyone wants to come forward, please feel free to do so. On top of that, so I'm not sure where you're getting the information on the 10 structures. Right now, we are looking at potentially.
Talking to that man half the day.
So, but I would like to meet with you about that because I think there's a lot of things that we can clarify. Nothing has gone to council regarding emergency family housing yet. So
Because I was told to come down here and talk to Levi. And Levi,
Let's-
I was told by the city guy on the spot, and I can't remember his name.
Okay,
I
that's okay.
apologize for that. But I'm pretty well known around here. I had a construction business here for a lot of years. I've owned that piece of property for 32 years. And they told me to come down to City Hall, talk to Levi, and I would get something. Well, Levi said I needed to come talk to you. Well, of course, you were in a meeting at the time. But you know what? Nobody, I pay for my sewer bill every month.
Terry, we're going to need to take this offline because we have other people
let's
waiting
go
to
ahead
talk.
and schedule a meeting and I'm more than happy to clarify and talk with you as much
Obviously,
as possible.
It's kind of like. It's done. Cut the trees.
Terry,
We already have people stealing stuff.
Nancy, it's your turn to come forward. You know the drill.
I do.
Name and address.
Nancy Patton, 3041 Foothills Drive, Sweet Home, Oregon. I actually came to listen to the parks, the engineers, but we got here late. I am on the Parks and Tree Committee. So anyway, the only reason I'm coming tonight is, first off, I thank everybody for doing all their hard work. The city, the public works, everybody, you guys are doing a great job. But I've lived on Foothills for 18 years, and to this day, unless I'm wrong, I have only seen that property on 27th and Foothills, the grass cut once. And I guess Gregory, I think, used to own it, and then somebody else bought it. We are willing, my husband bought a brand new weed eater today, by the way. We are willing to go down there and cut that. It's not a big deal. It's not that big of a place, but kids go down there and they play and they hit the bridge, and like two little kids were parked their bikes. We couldn't even see them. They were somewhere down in the grass. So I think just for a lot of reasons, it really needs to be cut. And I don't know who owns it. I think we've asked before. I don't know. Anyway,
Okay. Thank you, Nancy, for sharing your comment.
Let's meet because I have some ideas about that.
okay.
Okay.
So you want me to come see you too? You got a big list of people to see you.
Yes, she does. Thank you, Nancy, for coming forward and sharing that information with us. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, new business request for council action, Sankey Park Phase 3 engineering design contract.
Thank you. So we have been working on this contract and we have been negotiating back and forth. At this time, we were hoping to have it by tonight, but they are still higher than we feel comfortable with. So we would actually like to pull this tonight and continue our negotiations. So where this is grant funded, it's really important that we use every single dollar that we can because we do have limited resources there.
Moving on to the next item on our agenda, reports of committees. Any committee reports that need to be presented? Nope. Moving on, reports of city officials, city managers report.
So, this will be fairly quick, but I just want to remind everybody that the budget committee meets this Thursday. on the 30th, so in 2 days from now at 4 p.m. And you all have copies of the budget. You've had it for about a week. If you need a hard copy, if you need it emailed to a different email, if you need anything along those lines, please stay after and we will get that to you. We're very excited about this budget, so we're looking forward to our budget committee meeting. I also want to let everyone know that are going to have our safety fair / summer reading kickoff / Sankey Park swing ribbon cutting on June 15th. So really hope to see you all there. It should be a great event and we're really excited to be able to see all of these improvements and things that are going on. There is, as was discussed earlier, we have been starting site work on the park at Osage and 42nd. As was in our council goals and as we have been talking for a while. We did send out a letter and we did hold a meeting and we've also been posting it on Facebook. I am sorry to hear that some of the community members haven't been feeling communicated enough. I think that's definitely something we will continue to work on. As far as the emergency family housing that I know you all are aware of as well, we did receive a grant, and one of the locations that we have been looking at is potentially on that area of property, but that would need to come back to council, and that would be a high level transitional housing for families that were going through the transition of homelessness. Would not be a long-term housing structure. It would not be a camp. It would be very managed, and it's for families with multiple children who are currently in a situation like living in a car or something along those lines. Again, that is still very much an idea that is being discussed that would have to come back to council, but that would be something that we could be discussing at a later date. That is not currently going in right now. That is a discussion and it's an idea. There is a park going in right now, and we have been clearing some of the trees through that area because there has been a high level of security concern having to do with homelessness, fires, and so forth through that area. So Chief Ogden, Chief Tyler, and I have all been in discussion of this for a year as we brought to council, and this is a way of making that area significantly safer, nicer, improving property values, and providing a park. And I will say that so far, the majority of the community that we've heard from has been excited. So we do hope that those who are concerned about it, we can work with you and that you'll be pleasantly surprised. So beyond that, final thing that I wanted to share is I had the honor of attending the police graduation on Friday. And Officer Barreto and Officer Sanchez both graduated, and Chief Ogden was the commencement speaker. And if you have the chance, please go on and listen to his speech. It is an absolutely beautiful speech talking about leadership and leading from empathy and compassion and really getting to know people. And it made me cry. And I will also say that it partially made me cry because I just wanted to say how honored and humbled I am to get to work with Chief Ogden. And I don't think our community could ask for a better police chief right now. And I think you all are doing an absolutely phenomenal job. And I just want to say a huge thank you. So that's all I wanted to share. So thank you all.
Thank you, City Manager Young. Mayor's report. I was going to also mention I was unable to attend graduation, but I did listen. So thank you for representing the city of Sweet Home so well. And congratulations to the officers who did graduate from that. I also hope that everybody had a good Memorial Day weekend and anticipate seeing people at the June 15th Safety Fair in Sankey Park. I do have some comments or questions, but maybe it's not right now, but regarding what we will be seeing regarding that, the shelter, we heard a comment from somebody that's 10 huts, and I've not heard that before.
Well, that's not accurate. What we have been looking at is 4 to 5 potentially, and it wouldn't be huts. They would be little tiny homes, and they would be entirely grant funded. And it would also be, if we had used that location, it would be back a little bit off the road on the other side of the flex building from the park. And it would be managed as well, not as in a 24-hour management, because that wouldn't be necessary, more like managed as far as the way that you would manage an assisted living facility that wasn't full-time care. So there'd be somebody coming in and making sure that everything was routine. It would be high barrier, so there would be no drugs allowed, and it would be for families. So it's actually one of those things that has been proven time and time again to help improve areas and to help take care of our citizens.
Madam Mayor, I have a question on that. I just, for my own understanding, did FAC participate in that grant application with you?
They did submit a proposal.
Was it, did they
For the
participate in
RFP.
this one?
So in submitting an RFP for the management of it,
No, for the grant money. Did they help write the grant application?
no.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
I mean, they applied to try to potentially manage that
The
care facility.
I was just wondering, since we already have a facility in place, the success of that funding and maintaining that has a huge impact on our community. And I just wanted to make sure, because I was under the understanding that they participated with you in that grant application. And so I wanted to make sure, see if all of this money was going to a separate project or if that was going to be divided out.
So I think this has gotten a little blurred. So there was a grant, some grant funding that was provided by the MAC group. That was provided by the governor, that then went through the MAC group, that we had to apply for in order to receive that funding. And at this time, I had worked with FAC on asking what some of their needs were in order to try to do that application. So we did the application, but we did ask them, for some of their needs. And one of the things that they brought up was transitional housing pods that would be in various areas. And then we also discussed the fact that we have a need for family housing. So, and then we went ahead and submitted our application to the MAC group, and FAC also submitted an application to the MAC group. Our application was approved. And then our goal has been, as part of that funding, we didn't receive everything that we asked for. We were asked for about 700,000 and we received about 500,000. Everything that, for that 500,000 that we asked for, we then put out an RFP as the state requirements to then have management of those facilities. And then we were also looking at getting pods using that grant funds to be placed on the FAC facility.
Okay, thank you. And then the second question is when you took out the trees out of the potential park, because when people like to go to parks in Sweet Home, we like to see as much wildlife as possible. Were the nesting of the birds in the area taken into consideration when those trees were removed?
Yes, they were. We had multiple surveys and reviews, and we didn't see nesting in that particular area.
Okay, thank you.
Any council business for the good of the order? Okay. I will adjourn this meeting at 6:53 p.m.